So you're doing your research and you're planning that big move to good old San Diego and you're thinking, why the heck wouldn't I move there? What do I not know? Well, I've lived here my entire life and I'm gonna share with you 6 things that absolutely drive me nuts. And if these things bug you, then San Diego probably isn't going to be the best place for you. So if you wanna know the things that might drive you nuts, stay tuned. Welcome back. If this is your first time here and you'd like to know more about San Diego real estate and what life is actually like living here in San Diego, make sure you tap that subscribe button below. My name is Nick and you guys are reaching out all the time and we absolutely love helping you out. So if you're thinking about making a move in a week, a month, a year, make sure you shoot us a text, shoot us an email, or just straight up give us a call so we can help you save a ton of time and just help you make a smooth move right here to San Diego. All right, so this list is gonna be made up of a lot of personal stuff since I've lived here my whole life, along with a few things from people that have, or I should say clients that have relocated down here over the past few years. And I'm gonna be totally brutally honest in this list of stuff because like anywhere else, it has its cons, its negative stuff. If you wanna see the good stuff about San Diego, which there is a ton of, this video right here that I did is literally most of the good stuff that comes along with living here, but this one is gonna be all that stuff that kind of might drive you nuts if you're considering moving here. Maybe you already live here now and you can kind of relate to some of this stuff, but man, living here for 32, how old am I? 32 years now, so man, it drives me nuts. First on our list is going to be the gloomy months here in San Diego. Now, this is the biggest bummer to me, and we experience this in San Diego for several weeks, a couple months out of the year, and it's a crazy phenomenon, very depressing in my opinion, but it is called May gray and June gloom. In fact, I don't even really know what causes this. Let's actually get a little fact check right here and type this in. What causes May gray and June gloom? Also known as marine layer, we know that May gray and June gloom are caused by differences in ocean water temperatures and air temperatures. Okay, so a little science breakdown right there. So I understand that, I see what's going on, but why the clouds? Why do we have to have these crazy clouds? And if you're weather-driven personality like me, where if I wake up and the sun's out, I have a completely energetic, awesome day. But when it's gloomy like this, I'm a little bit slower. It's a little bit harder to get out of bed. I'm drinking more coffee throughout the day. It's depressing to me. So just know that you are going to experience this. No doubt, it's 100% gonna happen. I've been here my whole life and it happens every year. So May gray, June gloom. If you're living on the coast, you're gonna get it for sure every single day for several weeks. If you live inland, sometimes it'll burn off, which is really, really nice, but most of the time, it's probably not gonna burn off and you're gonna just have to deal with this May gray and June gloom. So it doesn't affect everybody, but just something to keep in mind if you are moving here. Next is our housing costs. Now, I'm sure you guys already know this, but holy smokes, San Diego is freaking expensive. If you're not making some really good money, you might really, really struggle to live here in San Diego. Now, the thing is that our high cost of living is really driven by one thing, and that is our crazy expensive real estate market. So prices can really vary depending on where you're looking in San Diego. I mean, in some cities, they can be as low, the average home price can be as low as $650,000, while you drive 20 minutes away to another city where the average home price is $3.2 million. So prices can change so fast. And I think the biggest thing is pre-pandemic, our housing prices were a lot lower. They were somewhere in the high 500,000s. Now, 3 years later, they're in the low $800,000 for the average home price. So it's pretty darn pricey here nowadays, and it just had a lot of people moving here. I mean, people are still always moving here. We got job opportunities, great weather, people trying to be closer to family that lives here. So there's just so many things that are kind of keeping the prices going up and up. So it's something you really want to pay attention to, and if you can buy something, definitely move here and buy, because we are in a very appreciating market here in San Diego, and prices are gonna continue to slowly go up and up. So I think you'll be very happy in the future if you do end up purchasing something. Next up is going to be taxes. Now, I'm not talking just one certain tax, I'm talking all the taxes across the board in not just San Diego, but in California, because you can't avoid these, and you certainly can't run from the tax man. He'll get you, so don't do that. But if you're coming from Texas where there's no income tax, or maybe you're coming from Oregon where there's no sales tax, We have, like I said, all the taxes here. Our sales tax is pretty high. We have a gas tax that is 40 cents a gallon. Yes, you heard that right. So that is a huge hit. And not to mention our income tax here, that it's true. The more you make, the more they take. So it's very, very expensive when it comes to taxes and things like that. I mean, on the bright side, I guess you could say our property taxes here in California or in San Diego, they're not too bad when you look at some of the averages in some of these other states. So that's kind of the beauty with taxes, but everything else, you can really, really expect to, pay more in taxes here. That's what's gonna happen. And it's probably the biggest bummer for me, especially being self-employed. They take a lot from you, but it is what it is. There is trade-offs, but it's something you really need to know. What do you think so far? Is this stuff that would make you not want to move here? Are you moving from somewhere else where this stuff really isn't that bad? I'm very curious. Let me know down below. Number 4 is going to be the traffic here in San Diego. And this one really, 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 really sucks. You can tell this one hits home for me. And I hate to be the guy to say this, but San Diego traffic is getting just as bad, maybe a little worse than Los Angeles. Maybe you agree with that, maybe you don't. But the thing is, it's just getting worse down here. I mean, more people are moving here. The roads are getting more and more congested. And I don't care what time of day it is. You can try to time the traffic as best as you can. I mean, I try to do it with clients all the time. It's like, hey, let's try to hit that house at 11 a.m., just knowing we're probably gonna miss traffic. And the thing is, somehow there is some knucklehead on the road that gets in a car accident, probably looking down at their phone, and boom, what do you know? You have bumper to bumper traffic at 11 o'clock in the morning, which is absolutely crazy. It should be done. The peak hours here in San Diego for traffic are gonna be anywhere from about 8 o'clock up to 9:30 maybe. And then in the evening, obviously it's way, way worse, is gonna be anything from maybe 3 to 6 p.m. Once you live here, you'll know, and you can try to avoid the roads. I thought a lot of people started working from home, but it sure doesn't seem like that because there's people on the road at all times of the day. Once you figure it out, it'll be a lot more better set. You'll kind of know the areas that get congested at certain times of the day. But for the most part, traffic is like, it's a major headache here. Just make sure you find some really good podcasts or you really found some good music on Spotify, and then you'll be a little bit better off. But even when you get the timings down, traffic can be extremely bad during certain events that happen in San Diego. I mean, you got Comic-Con, which is known around the world, and you also have the San Diego County Fair. These two events cause traffic for weeks. I don't know how long Comic-Con goes on for, maybe 2 weeks now, maybe a weekend, I don't really know, but there is a mad amount of traffic. But the San Diego County Fair, right out front of Del Mar right there, this, I used to look forward to the Del Mar Fair or the San Diego County Fair. Now I don't, because it's literally just a traffic jam on the I-5 for a good month straight. Doesn't even matter what time. So just a couple things to keep in mind. Next up is going to be the lack of walkability here in San Diego. And I'm used to it. I mean, I've lived here my whole life, but you need a car here. And if you're coming from Portland or maybe New York City or San Francisco, somewhere with a big city where you have some really good access to public transportation, you can kiss that goodbye. You're not gonna see that anymore. And you will have that if you're in downtown San Diego. You'll have the trolley, you'll have the coaster, you'll have the bus. You can get around without a car. But if you are in these suburbs, you will need a car, and you're probably not gonna have much walkability. Of course, you're gonna have sidewalks in the neighborhood. You can kind of cruise around, take the dog for a walk, go to some parks. But walkability to like shopping and grocery and restaurants, you really will have no options unless you bring a very, very nice budget. And I'm talking well over $1 million. And it's usually the biggest ask I get is when you guys reach out, the number one thing high up on your list is, Nick, we want some really, really good walkability. Well, unless you have that big budget, like I said, you're probably not going to find some good walkability. So keep in mind, just have a car. Everything's very spread out here, even the shopping centers and getting from A to B. Just a little going back on traffic real quick is I live in Oceanside, my office is in Del Mar. What should be literally, I think, an 18 or 19 minute drive takes me on the way home 45 minutes with traffic. So that's over 50% extra on the travel time. So just keep that in mind. Just have a car, or if you want that walkability, just bring a bigger budget, because you will find some really good walkability, but it's only gonna be in most of those coastal downtown areas. Lastly is going to be travel times. And you might be thinking, Nick, what do you mean travel times? No one really talks about this, but San Diego is literally located, well, I should say San Diego Airport is located on the most southwest region, besides Hawaii, in the United States. So we are very, very far from everything else. So what do I exactly mean by that is if you like to travel for fun, or maybe you have to travel for work a lot, leisure, or maybe just travel to go see family very often, know that you're one of the farthest destinations away. I'm a person that travels pretty often, and you have a connection flight. If you're flying international somewhere, you're gonna have a connection flight either in the Midwest or somewhere over there on the East Coast. So you're gonna have to make an extra stop, which just adds to your time. You have another layover, you're gonna have a connection flight. It takes more time to get to your destination. Also, if you fly over to the East Coast a lot, or maybe you work remote and work East Coast times, you're gonna have a big time difference. I mean, that 2 to 3 hours can really throw people off. I know it throws me off a ton. So it's just something you really wanna pay attention to, because maybe the Midwest might be better for you, or just living on the East Coast just so you can travel internationally with less travel times. It's just for people that really value their time. So what do you think? Do you agree with some of those negatives I spoke about? Do you have your own negatives on San Diego? I mean, heck, I definitely can't stand some of that stuff I spoke about. But what can you do at the end of the day? I mean, obviously it's not a deal breaker for me because I still live here and I'm not going anywhere. So if you're still considering moving here and that stuff doesn't really bother you, make sure you check out some of these videos right here, because these will be very, very helpful in helping you make a really smooth move here to San Diego. And make sure to reach out if you guys have any questions, because that's what me and my team are here for. I'll see you guys next time.